Don't you hate getting errors in Python? Ugh, I just want my code to always run. What if there was a way to solve this? Welcome back to the Python tutorial series. I'm so glad you're here. This is the 23rd video in the series, and today we will talk about how to reduce and eliminate edge case errors by using try and except. We will first go over what try and except is, then we will write code to eliminate certain types of errors by using try and except. Finally, we will go over how to use raise and assert with try and except. The timestamps are in the description below, so let's get started. I created a file called tryandexcept.py. If you remember, if you print a number and then divide it by a number, for example 0, we'll get a divide by 0 error. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to prompt the user to enter two numbers. I'm going to create a variable called num1 and have the user input a number. Then I'll copy this line of code and I'll create another variable called num2 and ask the user to input the second number. Then I'm going to print num1 divided by num2. Now when I run this will prompt me to input two numbers, and if I input 1 and 2, it's going to output 1/2. However, if I input 1 and then 0, it's going to give an error because we cannot divide by 0. This zero division error. So I'm going to copy this. You're going to see later on in the video the importance of this. I'll just create a comment and put it there. I'll also run this again, and let's say this time I enter a number C. That's not a number. It's going to give a value error. And I'll also put that in the comments. So as you see, the user can create an error in these programs. But what if there was a way to solve this? Well, there is with try and except. So I'm going to create try, T-R-Y, then a colon, and then I'll put all of this inside of try. So if it works, it will do this. If not, it will go to the except. So this accepts every single type of error. So I can then print there was an error. So now if I run this and I input 1 and 2, I get 1/2 like before. If I input 1 and 0, I will get there was an error. And if I run this again and then input something like C, which is not a number, I'll also get there was an error. So try and except is great. However, it comes back with this was an error for every single type of error. What's great about try and except is that there is a way to solve this. I created a new file called try and except with different types of errors.py, and then I pasted my code here. So remember when I copied this zero division error, I can do except zero division error, and then it will only accept this type of error. I can also do except value error, and it will accept this type of errors here. I'm gonna then change the print statement and say you cannot divide by 0 if there's a division error. I can also print you must enter a number if there was a value error because the user must have inputted a character instead of a number. If there's another type of error, I can do except at the end and it will accept every other type of error. And I'll say there was another type of error. And it's important that your final accept is at the end and not at the beginning because Python, like other languages, reads from top to bottom. So now when I run this, if I input 1 and 2 like before, I will still get 1/2. However, this time, if I enter 1 and 0, I will get you cannot divide by 0. So this program doesn't break anymore. Also, if I run this program and enter C as a number, I'll get you must enter a number. So instead of just saying there was an error, we prompted the user and said you cannot divide by 0 or you must enter a number. So that's cool. We can also do a statement called finally, and the finally statement will execute no matter what. So I'll print this will run no matter what. So if I run the program and then input a number, but I don't enter a number, I enter C, I'll get you must enter a number and this will run no matter what, because it did accept value error and finally. And if I run this again and then enter 1 and 2, I'm gonna get 1/2, and then this will run no matter what. Because try executed with no errors, so I got a half, and finally runs no matter what. So that's how to use try and accept with different types of errors. I created a file called arraysandAssert.py and pasted my code from before. When you use try and accept, you might come across raise and assert, so it's good to talk about it here. So what exactly is raise? Let's say I wanted to test an error. I could raise a zero division error. So I'll show you what that does here. So I'm gonna enter a number and I'll enter 1, and before I even enter the second number, it's gonna say you cannot divide by 0 because I raised a zero division error. The point of raising an error is to test your code to see what happens when there's a certain type of error. So now let's talk about assert. I'm gonna comment out this raise zero division error here, and I'm gonna assert that num1 is greater than 0, just to make sure it's positive. So assert really means make sure that. So if I were to run this and do 1 divided by 2, since 1 is greater than 0, this assertion is true and nothing will happen. So I'll just do 1 divided by 2 and I'll get 1/2. But what happens when I run this and let's say I enter -4? It's gonna cause an error because num1 is less than 0. And it says there was another type of error. And actually, it's an assertion error. So I'll just comment out the last 4 lines of code and run this so you can see what happens if the assertion is false and there is not an except for it. I'll enter -4 here again, and it's going to come back with an assertion error. So that is what assert is. And I'm going to show you something else that is cool with try and accept. I can accept multiple errors on the same line by putting them in parentheses. So I can accept a zero division error, and I can also accept a value error. Then I'll change this print statement to say there was either a value or division error. And now when I run this and I'll input C, it's gonna say there was either a value or division error. So you can group multiple errors together in one except. And that's a brief overview of try and accept, and finally, and different types of errors, and also raise and assert. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow along with this video series by subscribing and hitting the notification bell, or by clicking on the next video to expand your knowledge about Python. And as always, I can't wait to see you next time.